To me, music is like a lightning rod to how people feel, I think. And for me, the most amazing thing about it is it speaks directly to like an emotional center for me. So it can make me feel up and excited about a day that I wasn't excited about, or sentimental. Yeah, that's why it's important to me.
Me, I'd say it's kind of the humanity of our species. It's like we have this thing that we get to talk about what it is to be human, and it's the most direct way to get that connection between the shared experience. I didn't, as a child, I grew up in church with my dad as the worship leader, and that's kind of where we got our exposure to music at an early age.
And I started playing saxophone in junior high school. I chose band as an elective because I loved music as a kid. And then just kind of did that all the way through, some stumbling around in college a little bit. It didn't last long, but some.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. That's sort of the transition of kind of as a profession, as you recognize that this is a thing you have to maintain like any skill set, and continue to practice and learn and stay open. That's what you especially as a horn player. I learned from him how many hours you have to put in to playing your instrument, just as an exercise, and then as a songwriter, they're two separate exercises. Yeah, I go, okay, here's a session for songwriting, and that's a very different interest than I'm just playing chords and scales and learning to get better at the guitar. So they're two different things for me. He said, baby, that's almost out and see. I bet it's something to see, and I will be here, hell or high water. Nothing to fear, hell or high water. I will be here, hell or high water. Nothing to fear, hell or high water.
My favorite part, live performance, I really, really enjoy. It's neat when you can push an energy out into a room and then it comes back. And when that cycle completes, I think is really an amazing experience. But internally, when Abby brings a song to the band and we watch it develop with the rest of the band members, and like adding a little lick in that open space, and how she says something about how she's going to kill that thing, we then have to musically show that. Or just, it's such a fun process to collaborate.
Yeah, I was going to say the collaboration for me is the most exciting thing. I think bringing something that is one ingredient and watching everybody bring other parts to the song that I brought is just thrilling. It's incredible to watch how people add to something that you had a little seed of. Collaboration.
Yeah, she's got some songs that came in as kind of the intentionality of it was maybe a ballad. I think Ship is Sinking may have been one of those.
It's a little darker, and then, yeah, Jason and I got together and it just took on this more celebratory note, which changed the whole entire thing. I was raised in a house that kind of kept secular music out because that's what my parents believed was good. And so mine's church music and hymns, and then for some reason the Beatles were allowed in. I guess the subject matter of like the early work was clean enough that, so I Want to Hold Your Hand is like those, and it sort of, you know, the chord progressions of the Beatles early stuff makes sense for my songwriting, so I guess that's in there.
My earlies would be, I remember being on a family road trip and hearing Rocket Man for the first time, I think, Elton John, and that Yellow Brick Road album, and just having, my dad was a big music enthusiast, so hearing that album over and over as a kid was really, really neat.
I think of a lot about who I'd like to tour with, like who sounds like a fun band to hang out with and then maybe organically make music with. I guess I don't really, I mean, it would be a sound that that we don't currently have. I really like Sylvanesso, their electronic, you know, approach to everything is, we don't do any of that at all, and so it'd be neat to see what electronic music could do in our music. I think we're playing more and more with that.
Yeah, same.
Really?
Yeah, I would love to make music with those two.
I like fart jokes.
She does. It's the funniest thing.
But humor is sort of, for me, as of the last few years, comedians is kind of, compared to what it's like to be a performing musicians, comedians is the next most extreme level of that, where they go out there alone, without the safety of collaboration, and they're essentially putting ideas into the world the same way songwriting is, only they're doing it in a way that's funny, and I think the jester of the court's always able to give you a message quicker because they break you down with laughter, whereas my songwriting is very serious, and I respect and revere what comedy can do in place of what I can't do, you know?
Welcome to the news. I'm Tan Danwich.
Bandwidth.
Tan Bandwich.
What would the people say? Those minstrels chose to play. Is the water rose or
I really admire comedy because just to be able to tell the truth in front of people and have it be funny and acceptable and you identify with it. But when people when you get an actual human moment from people, often it's awkward and fun and funny, and I'm fascinated with it. Yeah.
I guess personally, a lifetime of being a creative.
I prefer to be mobile when the pain sets in. My friends are all dying, the field it's infringed. Lay me in dirt, sing every day on some hill. Oh Lord, if you love me, let me come back as a bird.
There's a lot of comforts that you give up. There's lifestyle choices you make to continue to commit to being a creative with trying to maintain authenticity. And the band that we're in today, I believe, represents all of those ideals I sort of hoped to keep intact from the age of 16. So I guess, yeah.
Same.
Oh, Newsies, all day long. We were raised on musicals. I was going to say that the house musicals were allowed to get through too. My family is very big into movies and media, and my dad was an animator for Disney, and so we were allowed to consume a lot of that. And Newsies I was just the right age of being very impressed upon by a bunch of boys dancing around in turn of the century New York.
Say, what do you see? I liked the Cole Porter stuff. When I was young, my family and I would go to the Santa Barbara Civic Light Opera and see Anything Goes and that kind of era. And I always thought the level of wit in the songwriting is just incredible. The way it's just so complicated and well written and thoughtful. It was awesome to me.
Also, we just won the recently is Hadestown.
Oh yeah.
We just went and saw that, and I'd been sort of following the music before it. You know, Anais Mitchell. Anais, however you say her name.
Sorry.
We went and saw it just a year ago, and it was everything we'd hoped for. Just knowing the music and then seeing the performance was.
Yeah.
It deserves everything it's getting.
Let's make our final answer Hadestown.
Hadestown.
You knew I laid it way long. Here's my nose pearly gates. You're everything out of the sea. You hurry up and take my hand and you leave me in the charge. Tell me this as the band starts to play. Well, the mornings will sing their dirty love. The city right out the
You first. You choose two faces, I'll choose two?
We could do that. Collaborating there too. Two faces that would go on my personal musical Mount Rushmore would probably be Sidney Bechet, both for character, salt and grit, and musical contribution.
You do your own mountain.
My own mountain?
Yeah,
Okay.
all four, go for it.
This is difficult. So Sidney Bechet, probably I would add a Miles Davis for myself. And then, let's see, who else? Who comes to mind? Probably Tina Turner.
Ooh.
From my past with my family. And then maybe Stevie Wonder. Probably those four.
Oh yeah. Okay, American music. For me personally, I'm the mountain, and it's my Rushmore. Barring my existence is probably Elliott Smith at a very young age. I'm a songwriter. That was sort of my first pathway. So Elliott Smith, and then Sister Rosetta Tharpe as recently, and just kind of keeping that as a beautiful formative sound of American music. Let's see, also young me, musicals. So I guess, is it the Sherman Brothers of all the Disney? Like Mary Poppins, and they did all the songwriting. So earliest influences was Disney cartoons, and Tom Waits for me would be on there.
I can't believe I missed Tom Waits. He would be my fifth head. I know, man. I don't have a favorite sound. I like a lot of them.
I like wind when you're sitting there and it's still, and then you feel a swell. It sort of feels like something is trying to communicate with you when you ask the heavens what to do, and then the wind sweeps in. I've been like, oh, that's an answer. It sounds like an answer.
Yeah?